What's this? Why single men are happier than you think. Hit me with it.
Hey, it's Christine Grace. Welcome back to
Fuck me, Christine. You're loud as fuck.
my channel. So I've been sent this video in called Why Single Men Are Happier Than You Think. And I've been asked to do a little reaction to it. So that's what I'm going to do.
Well, we're going to react to your reaction. How about that?
Like the video as we get
This is where we are. Nah, we're at this point.
into it.
I was there.
And let's do that. Let's get straight into it.
Single men are much happier than most people think.
Oh shit. Sounds like a wizard in the forest going to tell us some legendary stories. Legendary stories. Is it with history? Is it with past experiences? Who is this wizard?
In fact, being single is such a relief for most men once they release themselves from that cultural paradigm that they need to have a woman in.
Cultural paradigm is quite accurate. That's quite accurate, yeah. Because in some sort of way, I think people subconsciously, when you say to them you're single, especially if you're like over 30, whatever, people have this subconscious thing because society tells them you've got to be married at that time, you've got to have certain things, you've got to hit certain check marks at certain ages. It's really fucking strange. But yeah, then for you not to have what they deem society, you know, what society deems you should have, if you don't have that, i.e. marriage or kids or house or whatever it is, if you don't have that, they assume that you must be sad or something's gone wrong or oof, they might be in a situation or what happened. No, I'm happy. I'm actually much happier. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of vibe. Let's see what old boy's saying. Wizard, I fucking told you he's a wizard. Single, that's me for the rest of my life now. Kazuki boy.
In their life in order to be considered relatively happy. Well, the truth could not be further from the paradigm that we're living.
Is the homie got the homie's got a drone? He said, I'm gonna make a forest video talking about why single life is better, and I'm gonna bring out the drone for this. He might have possibly bought the drone for this. Bruv. Wizard activity. This is exactly what wizards do. Tell me more.
Men are much happier on their own without a woman in their lives, especially these days.
It's that same old that proverb. That it's almost written in the stars. It's known. It's well known across the universe. It's like women can't live with them, can't live without them. Bim, boom. It's like that.
Men right now, even approaching a woman is a very risky proposition.
Look, I've said so much. It's been 52 seconds. She's not said a word. Now, go, look in the mirror and ask yourself, who's the better streamer here? Go on, do it.
There's a relatively good...
Who's the better reactor in this scenario? 53 seconds, I've given you all the content that she's going to give you in this 30-minute video. Mark my words. Who? Me.
Chance that whatever you do is going to result in you either being canceled or turned into somebody's TikTok meme or being accused of being a creep. Or
Men are not approaching women no more. They're saying, fuck that. Fuck that. She's got a hidden camera. Fuck that. She's got a hidden camera. Fuck, I'm going to be on TikTok. Viral for the wrong reasons. I always wanted to be viral, but not this reason. She's got a hidden camera.
Or a predator. So why even bother? I mean, there's just way too much risk and way too little reward for most men to justify getting into a serious relationship with a woman. I would suggest that not only is it a bad idea for men to do this, but I think that men will ultimately be...
Look at these panoramic shots. He thought about this. He thought about this. What a man. But I gotta go to the toilet though. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. banger. Man like Takuya. Alright. Wizard, give me more knowledge. I yearn for your touch. Your touch upon my mind. Fixed it.
Way happier on their own when they find their own path and they let.
Look at the panoramic shots. He's got a mic. He's serious about this. Someone broke his heart. Someone broke his heart. Someone broke his heart. Who broke your heart? What happened? Who broke your heart? What happened? Who wants to bet it's a woman? I bet you it's a woman. Nah. I bet you it's a woman. No, you don't bet me. I bet you it's a woman.
Let go of this idea that they need to have a woman in their lives.
Told you.
Are much more trouble than they're worth. Now,
maybe I'm the fucking wizard here. It's crazy.
If you're a man and you're married and you've got a woman in your life, I hope
it's
it works
lovely.
out
I think
for
that
you.
is. Yeah.
But for those of you who have not found a woman and you feel like you need to,
yeah, this is where I think is a massive divide. Those that truly wanted love, married. Those that wanted marriage and married for love, truly, in their hearts and their partners for life, is a beautiful sight. Beautiful sight. We need them to continue humanity. Beautiful sight. But then there's those that feel like they have to do it because of the social pressures, family pressures, it's ultimately social pressures. Because, society has deemed certain unspoken rules, so to speak. But they're spoken. There is rules, across the board. And that's there's rules that both men and women, criterias we have to hit. It's very fucking strange. I say we shed that skin, shed that shit, leave that shit in the past, because I think it's a bit. That's me personally, and obviously I'm not daring to say society should do that. I'm just saying, maybe. Again, it's an individual thing. I think ultimately it's an individual thing. It's you as the individual, like we're talking about, like the wizard's telling us now. Like, if you're one of them that married for true love, and you could see it, you could see the people that did, you can truly see it. It's flourishing, and it's a beautiful thing because they're meant to be. That's the thing. But then there's those that are feeling inadequate, and that's a terrible thing. That's a terrible thing. Feeling inadequate or feeling like, you're a failure in some sort of way because these societal norms you have not fucking passed the gate. You've not leveled up. Fuck knows, whatever it is. That is what I'm saying we need to change. Change that mindset, that society norm, cloud, whatever the fuck it is. I'm saying let's change that. Not change the mind of society. No more marriage. No more. No, I'm not saying that. That would be ridiculous. That'd be ridiculous. It's just change the society pressures on people, because what's so sad about it is literally people get depressed by it. It leads to, bad things in people's lives, and ultimately it can lead to people, taking their own life and terrible things like that, because just because of this society thing. That and many other things, but because of the society thing, is that big cloud overhead. Oh, I've not done this, I've not done that, I'm a failure as a human. You know what I mean? And that needs to be eradicated really quickly.
I want to...
Kazuki, you loved the way I fixed that, innit? That was spectacular. The wizard touched me. Touched the nether regions of my mind. Wow, I'm making it better. I'm a fucking poet.
Offer this to you as an opportunity to give...
Okay, straight off the bat,
Okay, so these are her first words. So I'm actually reacting to old boy, the wizard, and then I'm reviewing her reaction of it. How about that? 2 in 1. Talking about content and that. Don't talk to me about it.
Your happiness should not be dependent on another person. So,
True, though.
obviously we're going to get right into this video, but if this guy's message is that you're perfectly capable of being happy on your own, then I absolutely agree with that. And your happiness shouldn't be dependent on another person. True. Another person coming into your life should be an add-on. It should add to your life. And the purpose of going into someone else's life should be that you want to add on to their life. This culture that we have of...
Yep, this is all true, but this is not the only thing that he's mentioned. He's mentioning that society thing that I'm talking about. Let's see.
Getting into a relationship means I'm receiving something and
Very
you want to see
critical.
what you can get out of it. No, it should be what can I offer to this person's life, and vice versa from both of you. So I agree with the sentiment here that you don't need a woman to be happy, but it should be a nice thing to have one. I'm not going to sit here and say I agree with the fact that you shouldn't want a woman because then that's the end of the human race. But
no, people still gonna fuck. Oh. No, people still gonna fuck.
I do get where he's coming from, that unfortunately now, for a lot of guys, it's not that it's nice to have a woman, it's stress, it's hassle, it's
burdensome.
Risk.
It's burdensome.
Life a different thought. Have a different perspective. Consider the possibility that not having a woman in your life is a blessing, and the opportunity
The wizard is spitting.
for happiness for you is just as great or greater than any married man could
Amazing.
be. So let's talk about it.
The aerial shots.
We all get one life to live.
And it was in this forest where I buried her. Imagine.
And finding happiness is elusive enough as it is. But when men are facing bigotry from women that is endorsed and accepted by society as a whole, it makes it even more difficult. And so endeavoring to build relationships with women for many men is becoming less and less of an option. Men going their own way is just a natural...
Yeah, especially the endeavorment of it, like the seeking of that is declining rapidly. Very rapidly.
Order of things. And there's an enormous amount of fulfillment and opportunity for men out there on their own. And in fact, in many ways, women are a hindrance to men's happiness.
That's a real shame.
Damn, yeah, that's mad. In many ways, women are a hindrance to man's happiness. That's a fucking crazy view there, my brother.
In many ways, women are a hindrance to men's happiness.
That's a real shame.
Belief and idea that we need to have a woman in our life that has been the historical norm and the paradigm that we have been living under for such a long time, that breaking free of that paradigm and exploring our happiness and our independence and our ability to find meaning in our lives without the burden of having to care for a woman is just a great opportunity. So don't feel for a moment that you're not complete as a man just because you're not married or you don't have a full-time woman in your
He's spot on with this. Yeah, that's what we're saying here.
life.
That needs to be shed.
Because women are just one thing. They're just one option. And for those of you guys who are happily married, good for you. You know, good on you. But if anyone who has been married for any length of time knows, it's not an easy track. I mean, it's a very, very difficult task. Being in a long-term relationship with a woman, they're very difficult to manage. They're extremely emotional.
I haven't done that, but just the relationship, a day-to-day relationship is a little bit difficult. It takes effort, so to speak. So maybe it's the wrong people. Maybe I'm not meeting the right people. You know what I mean? But yeah, it takes effort. It's like it gets tiring.
They're extremely irrational. They're very simple and straightforward in their needs and their desires, and they communicate it to you
She laughed. She laughed because she knows it's true.
directly. Women are not like that. And so having relationships with them can be extremely difficult. So today we're going to...
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
She knows it in the core of her soul. Difficult fuckers. You hard fuckers. Why are you being so hard?
talk about how men find happiness on their own.
He will find happiness alone in the forest with a stick and a rock.
Without a woman in their lives. Society has a tendency to view men who are single as unfulfilled or lonely or...
But I was just saying this. Fucking prophet.
incapable of
Fucking Nostradamus.
having a full, meaningful life. And nothing could be further from the truth. In a society that has promoted women to the point where it's okay for them to say things like, all men should die, and men are useless, and we don't need men anymore. And
it's almost because it's like they're so prized. Women have always been throughout history, innit? Prized, because they're the life givers. It's like they say there's only a few things in life that get unconditional love. It's like women, children, maybe the pet. But the man has to bring his worth. He has to bring his worth to the table. Has to earn his love. It's a bit sad. Like that, what was the other sad one? It's like a man or something. Like a man won't get the only flowers a man will get is when he's dead. Oh, buy me fucking flowers, you fuckers. But it's true, it's that. It's like, yeah, it's really weird.
These kinds of bigoted statements, without holding them accountable. If I said something like that about any ethnic group, if I said that about women or transgenders or, Jews or Catholics or Muslims, I would be called out as a bigot, as a racist, as a misogynist. But women can get away with this shit like they're immune to society's standards. They can say evil, mean things about men without being held accountable.
And it's like, go girl, you go girl.
And so it's very clear.
It's like, and then the man like, well, I better hide my feelings then, bury that. Don't cry, you fucker, you pussy. Don't be a man. Okay, crack on with it. It's fact. There's something wrong there.
Here.
There's somehow an imbalance. I'm sensing an imbalance here.
From that perspective, and from the perspective of family court,
it's terrible.
That women are getting most favored person treatment in the world right now.
Yeah, it's
and
known.
In a
surprised.
marketplace between men and women, where it's very important that the dynamics at least have some kind of rules that everyone can play by.
Yeah, it's not, but it's all one-sided. Women have these ridiculous demands. There's this criteria list you got to hit. It's all on us. It's all on men. Everything's all on us. The pressure's all on us. It's so fucking weird.
And agree to.
And ultimately, tiresome.
And women live.
Today's stream is sponsored by tiresome.com. Are you tired? Go to sleep with tiresome.com / using promo code Mellow Savage is exhausted / a fucking knackered.com.
Live outside of those rules. Well, why would men want to enter into any kind of a long-term relationship with them? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all. Life 1.0 tells
Seems
us
like a
that
trap.
we need to get married. That's one of the boxes that we need to check in our lives. And I think as men being raised primarily by women, and inevitably, unless you were a helicopter child or you were a single child, you
Helicopter child? What the fuck is that?
probably didn't get a lot of nurturing from your mother.
Born in a
I
helicopter.
certainly didn't. I think that Generation Xers like me, we were not the purpose of our parents' lives. Oftentimes we felt like we were an impediment to their lives.
Get the fuck out of the way, you cunt. Where's under my feet?
So, seeking out a woman's comfort is something that I think our generation really sought out, or that's something that we...
That's a really fair psychoanalytical point. I mean, I don't know much about Generation X in regards to child rearing, but I do think it's a fair
Where's your father?
point that men
I'm joking.
and women, the whole kind of premise of this video is that you don't need a woman to make you happy, and he's absolutely right. But,
Ultimately, don't need no one. The happiness, true happiness, is my psychoanalysis now. The true happiness comes from within. There's nothing in the external universe. There's nothing without, so to speak, that can give you true happiness than what you have within. Number one rule. Remember that. That's where it lies. That's where it lies. That's where you could be in a place, essentially hell. You could literally be walking through the hallways of hell, and for you would not feel it. For you would be untouched. Why? Because you have found that true inner peace. You would simply be observing it. At that point, untouchable. Because you have found resolution within. That's the number one. Find that peace within. Find that love within. And if you're seeking for that if you're seeking for that outside, externally, then it's only going to be short-lived. It's only going to be a short-lived because why? It's only a reminder of what you have inside. You just haven't been able to tap into that. You get little reminders of it every now and then, but the endorphin hits you get with external things gives you a reminder of that. But gaining that fully within yourself, and it's a journey. It's not like I'm sitting there saying, I have attained it. No, it's a journey. I'm on my way to it. But that's the key. I think that's the ultimate key. Find that peace, true and utter peace within, and nothing will be able to move you. It could be a storm outside. You walk right through it. You walk right through it, like Moses did in the waters, whatever they said there. But yeah, it's like that. Find that inner resolution, inner peace. How could you love someone else if you don't truly love yourself? It's impossible. What you do then is you lust a person, and then lust will then lead to loathe. It's not love. That's an L.
It goes both
see that? I'm a fucking poet. I didn't know it, but I'm a poet.
ways. You shouldn't need another person to make you happy. It should just be a nice thing. You know, it should be something that adds to your life, not the sole source
of your happiness,
joy and happiness in your life. However, a child, when you're a child, you know,
I think like having a baby as well is like the child. The child represents the physical embodiment of the love that these two beings have for each other. The love is so vast that it has given. They have created another being. That's a physical embodiment of their desire and their true undying love for each other. That's what I see as a child. It's very fucking holy. The shit is very deep. We take it for granted, but it's very deep.
Your source of happiness and nurturing and joy often does come from your parents. So for a lot of people, where they haven't gotten that as a child, they then seek that out in someone else, and it becomes a primary basic need that they feel like they need a partner.
And you can see it's a world being built like that because, like as I'm just trying to explain now, is like a relationship built on that, on the lust, and then the lust-loathe thing. It's relationship built with that, and then you're siring kids in that environment, in that petri dish, so to speak, with that being the undertones, love and loathe, lust and loathe, and you know, toxicity. Then obviously the seed is gonna be affected, and it's gonna yearn. It's gonna yearn for that inner love that it has within itself that I was speaking about as well, which it will eventually try to tap into. It's gonna be reminded, and it yearns for that. There's something inside it that yearns for love. You know what I mean? It's going to seek it with anyone as it grows into adult. Then the cycle continues. To me, that sounds like hell. Truly, that truly sounds like hell. They say the day that the day of judgment is the day that never ends. Yeah, it's because you're judging yourself on a daily basis till you die. They say YOLO, but I wake up and live every single day. I'm only going to die once though. So YOLO, give me a second. The man is a feeling. The man is an energy. Let's go.
In order to have that basic need met. And
Sorry
it's
about
extremely
that.
unhealthy, and that's how people become codependent, and that's how you end up having these toxic relationships where eventually people decide, you know what, I'm better off without any kind of human interaction, because
The cycle continues.
with the opposite gender, because it's just too painful. And I get that, and I think it's a fair point that he's making about the fact that how you were raised and how your parents treated you often reflects in your intimate relationships.
100%.
We did.
That's the Freudian, isn't it? Freud? Yeah.
And I think even the boomers before us had a lot of the same experience. If I had known, 25, 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago, what I know now, I certainly wouldn't have been so eager to get married.
There we go. There is words of a wizard.
And we all have our different reasons at different times. And at the time when I got married, I was a single father. So finding someone who could play that maternal role for my son was a high priority.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, it was a mistake,
See.
I think that my life probably would have been just as happy or much happier, and certainly a lot more financially rewarding if I had remained single.
It's crazy.
Well, you never know. Life happens.
Yeah, well, he's 100% spot on, but he's telling you from he's lived it. I've been there, man.
But I guess my point is, don't feel like
Every situation, granted, is different. Every person is different. Yeah, but it would be. I just say this: it would be wise to listen to the advice
getting married
of one who's been there.
is something that is critical to your life.
Yo, my moon, how you doing? How you doing? I hope you're well. Appreciate you for popping in.
There's so much more to life than marriage and raising children.
Yeah, that sickness we need to get out of our head. We need to get that sickness out of the head of, I have to get married, I have to do this, there's these criteria I have to do, because what you end up doing is once you do achieve that, you achieve that, you're going to sit down, decrepit, knackered, exhausted, tired. You're going to sit down and you're going to go, actually, I'm not even fulfilled in a lot of cases. I'm not saying this is every case. But in a lot of cases, that's what a lot of people do. And a lot of them, because they're so committed to it and they've already took the plunge, they won't even admit it to themselves. They won't be honest to themselves and say that this is the point that they're at. When really, just simple observation will show you that they're at that point where they've reached it and got what society said that they should get. And it's not what it was all made up to be. They go, at the end, and ultimately, I swear to God, they would say things like, I forgot myself. I done all of this, I done all of that. I done this for these people I don't even like particularly. I done this because I had to do it. I done this because society said. I done that. I got this car. I got this house. I done that. I wore these trainers. I done this. I got these clothes, just to keep up with this shit. And then that ultimately, when you're reaching that eventual grave, you'll be in a decrepit point where you'll be like, I forgot myself. I ultimately forgot what I love, what I want to do, what I wanted to do. What about me? Yeah, well, it's too late now, motherfucker. Just start digging. No, but not so cynical. But ultimately, that's what I'm saying. I appreciate the follow. I'm good. What part of the world are you at? Where are you hailing from? I'm broadcasting live from London town. We out here in the grey city. But let's continue.
There's lots of ways to find fulfillment. Don't get stuck in the paradigm.
Big truth. Hey, bro, I love your shooting.
Getting
These
married
drone
and
shots.
having a family, that's just one option. But because it conforms to societal norms and historical precedent,
Oh, you're not married? Oh, you're not married? Oh, something must be wrong. That's the thing.
it's something that men feel obligated to do.
The thing is, I'm fine. I'm fine.
The truth of the matter is, it's just a paradigm that has not been challenged in a big way for a very long time. I think that a lot of our ancestors probably figured it out that living with a woman for the rest of your life probably wasn't an ideal solution for most men. The fact of the matter is, our ancestors, our ancient ancestors, spent an awful lot of time away from home. They were hunting and they'd be gone for weeks at a time on hunting trips.
He makes an absolutely fair point here. The fact that what modern marriage is not what partnership marriage was, you know? The point of men being sort of away from home is completely fair because now we have a situation.
Well, it's like what we should advocate. It's like they're saying like, man, it's essential for man to have a space away. It's essential for man to have time away from the woman. It's essential. That's what they're essentially saying, isn't it? With the hunting, the fishing trips, the war.
Where I don't.
Did man start war just to get out of the house?
No, perhaps.
I'm joking.
His earlier point is what the reason behind it is. Perhaps it's how people.
It's like, fuck, she's doing my head in. Call Russia. You call Russia, Putin picks up. Hello. Yo, it's Trump. Bro, my wife is doing my fucking head in, bro. Putin's like, brother, I thought you would never call. Yeah, let's just do it. Anything, bro. Let's get out of the house.
Were raised and perhaps women, you know, we've got a rise in fatherless kids. Perhaps it's women wanting to seek out that, you know, parent love in a partner. So they feel this need to have them.
And you notice it a lot in society because you see a lot of girls, they want a sponsor. A dad. They want a daddy. That's what they want. Someone to pay the way, just what a dad would do.
Man with them all the time. It's like, okay.
They've mixed up what love is. So when you ask a female of today, a lot of them, you ask them, "Oh, what do you want?" They have this. They have 6 figures, 6 foot tall. They have all this weird criteria in their head, because ultimately they want a provider, like a father figure. That's what they want. They don't know what love is.
You finish work, you come home to me. Weekends, you spend time with me. And there's 2 sides to that, you know, that on the one side, you know, when you love someone, you want to be with them all the time. But the flip side, I am a big advocate for men need to be around other men and men need to have men's spaces.
The same with women as well. Same with every human being. I would push it further. I 100% agree that men need to be with men. No homo, obviously. Men need to be with men. Like, it's so important. Because of this whole societal thing that I was talking about earlier, this weight society has on men, this dark cloud, I don't know what you want to call it, but this thing that men have, you be strong, don't show your emotions, all this, all that. So who's a man gonna confide in? Another man. That's all it is. That's what you need that. You need that. Swear to God, if you take that away from a man, it's very detrimental to the being. The male brotherhood is so important. It's so important because of the way society is structured with these pressures. And I think it's a lot to do because of these pressures that men face on a daily, silently, mind you, silently, dealing with it silently, because obviously part of the criteria of society norms is you can't cry, you can't show emotion. They tell you, you never share your feelings. Well, fucking, it's like, what? You're confusing me here. So you just shut up. Just go, fuck it, continue.
And unfortunately, with women now in the workplace, women have infiltrated men's spaces, and men don't have that time just with other men. And that is a real need for men because it's biological, it's natural, you know. In hunter-gatherer times, the women would have stayed home with the children and been around other women, and men would have gone out and hunted with other men. And even up until sort of 100 years ago, that was the case, you know. Women would hang around with other women and men would go out and work with other men. Yeah. But we don't have that anymore. And instead, men...
There would be the housemakers.
And women have, in relationships, perhaps become...
Because it's got so easy, innit? I think that's my cynical view on this shit. It's got so easy. So if we go rewind the time to hunter-gatherers, we're surviving. We're looking to survive. Hunter-gatherers, we're moving forward, and then we're getting more comfortable. Oh, it's lovely. Now look at us at the peak of comfort. You just go outside and get a fucking cow in the shop, all cut up for you, even pre-cooked. You just got to warm it up. It's that easy. It's got so now we're so bored. So bored. Even the women are just so fucking boring.
Become codependent on one another, and then in society the sexes have completely
And I've spoken about this before, and not to be so cynical, but it's like as well a decline in men having a purpose. Do you know what I mean? If you take the brotherhood away from man and you take away purpose from man, then you see like it's not going to be like a good society. You won't see a very good society if these criteria are in place, and these criteria are in place. They are in place, and it's not looking good. Telling you that. That's why you're seeing a decline in even. It's like now we're in a generation where it's the lowest levels of teenage sex. Like the teenagers are not having sex. They're not meeting up. They're not. There's that human connection we're losing it. You know what I mean? Especially the new generations, and it's only declining. Online is rising. It's like it's very fucking strange. And then we just observe it. We can observe it. We just observe this and go.
turn.
It's like being aware of the cage, but what the fuck are you gonna do? I know I'm in here, but what the fuck are you gonna do? I have to try and call the guard. To try and get the guard to the door. The guard's got the key on his waist. I have to try and do something. We know we're in a cage now. What's the next step? Can't let them know that we're in a cage, though. Got to pretend that we don't know we're in a cage. You know what I'm saying?
Away from each other. So clearly something's not going right.
Hey, but bring the guard. Bring the guard. He's got the key. There's someone distracted. Try to get the key.
And I feel like we're
Prison
all just
break.
trying to figure it out. But he makes a fair hypothesis.
No, he's 100% spot on. And as well, a lot with his reason and his view being based is experience. It comes from pure experience. There's no denying experience.
New places to live. Just going out and exploring the world. Staying at home and being a father and a husband was not something that most men did a long time ago. Financially, single men do quite well. In fact, there are several studies that show that financially single men are doing much better than their romantically entangled counterparts.
It's logical. That's logical. You got less that depend on it. It's just yourself. Yeah, very logical.
Now,
I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
granted, there are some benefits if you meet the right girl and she can pull her weight and help buy you a house. But for the most part, single men do much better on their own than having a woman in their lives. Budgeting is made much simpler. Prioritizing needs and desires is much more straightforward. You don't have to worry about, someone else's spending habits or their fetish for furniture or whatever it may be.
This guy's been through some shit now.
Decide what's important to you and spend your money on it, or you can just stash that money away and save it for a rainy day or a sunny day if you like. But yeah, being financially independent as a single man is much more straightforward and simple than it is when you're married. Yeah. Especially if you're financially going to be caring for this woman and maybe even a few children. Oh my gosh, just look at the cost of putting kids through preschool. Forget about college. My God. It costs you a couple $1,000s a month per kid to put them through a preschool program.
It's a scam.
And then when you get to college, if you got a real smart kid, you could be easily paying $500,000 or $600,000 to get your kid through college. Now imagine how you could use that money on your own.
I fucking imagine.
Yeah, yes. You start to see the...
He's sitting there just imagining. Just imagine.
Benefits already. Doesn't take a genius to figure this one out. I remember when I was a kid, if I got caught doing something stupid, my typical excuse for that stupidity was, well, everyone else was doing it. And of course, my parents' response to that was the classic, well, if everybody else was jumping off a bridge, would you jump 100%. Off a bridge? Like, shit.
If your parents didn't say that to you, you can't be trusted. You can't be trusted. Can't be trusted, bruv. If you don't like Bob Marley, can't be trusted. Can't be trusted. If you don't like Nelson Mandela, you can't be trusted. Can't be trusted. But most importantly, if your mum didn't say, well, if all your friends jump off a bridge, are you going to jump off a bridge? She didn't say that. You can't be trusted. You don't know nothing about life. You don't know nothing about life. Mum knows everything.
Anyway, that applies here and now better than ever. Everybody's getting married. Everybody's jumping off a bridge. Just because they're doing it, does that
Buzz, my God.
mean you should do it? Be smarter.
It's a fair point. Marriage is more unsuccessful than it has ever been.
Also, sorry to cut you off, Christine, I think her name is. But also, marriage is very one-sided, whereas the burdens are on the man again. Marriage, whereas if you're a woman, you have a choice. The guy's going to look after you. You know what I mean? You're like going into a cushy place, a cushy little position. Like find a nice little lovely cushy position for life. But still the burdens are on the man. He's got to provide, he's got to care for that family, he's got to work, he's got to love you, he's got to show you love, give you time, affection. This is a lot of things. This you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, hold on.
Before divorce rates are significantly on the rise, it's over 1 in 2 marriages end in divorce. He makes a fair point.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you have to get married. You don't have to jump off that bridge. There are lots of other things you could be doing with your time.
It's true.
It's the same with a lot of things, you know. Why are you smoking? You could be doing a lot of things, you know. It applies.
Feel like you have to do something just because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, that's the important takeaway from this is the don't feel that society ghost. Don't feel that ghoul on your back telling you, oh, you've reached a certain age, you're doomed. Basically, you know, don't forget that. That's that monkey in your mind that doesn't exist. Put it in a cage. Don't cage yourself and let the monkey take control. Now, that's a nightmare.
Don't think you're missing out on something just because everyone else is doing it. Like I just mentioned, divorce is higher than ever before. It might seem like, oh, everyone is getting married, everyone's doing so great, but it's like, are they really? Just wait it out. In 5 years, of 4 people who are married that you know, 2 of them will be divorced. So
yeah, and that's kind of crazy, isn't it, when you think about that?
Take it slow. Don't make stupid decisions. Don't jump off the bridge. And just find your own happiness.
Yeah.
Find it. And then if you happen to meet a woman, a good woman, great. You've already got that happiness there. Your happiness isn't dependent on a woman. And vice versa. Girls, if there's any girls watching this, your happiness isn't dependent on a man.
Yeah.
But it can sure come from one.
100%. And it's like that, with that being the basis, then I think 2 people like that are grounded, that are, you know, not dependent on outside love, that are completely a whole person within their self. They truly love their self. They truly care for their self, like that, as well as the people around them. A person like that, which is not seeking, you know, needing another person, no, is where these 2 people complement each other. They are the gems of society. They're the gems because they sire and they give their offspring are like beautiful people because they're brought up correctly in true love. It's what a human needs. It needs true love. You know what I mean? And then that will prevent that young human from growing up looking to seek that love in any nefarious way, in any desperate, sad, convoluted, decrepit way. You know what I mean? Any love out there. Please, bit more love. You know, you don't need that because they've got it at home. And then that person's going to forward. Sorry. Oh, big old mic hit there. Sorry. That person will help progress society. It's gonna be a value, a great addition to society. Wouldn't you agree? A person like that, a person who's grew up in love, a person who knows love truly from their parents, grew up in that loving environment. Of course, they're gonna be beautiful people to have in society, as opposed to someone who hasn't got that. Would you rather have someone who's loved or not? Clearly, the loved one will there's something, I prefer. That would be mine, but you get what I'm saying, right? I don't know what I'm talking about now.
Money, peace of mind, and all of that stuff.
From one.
Sorry, I thought I skipped
Money,
something.
peace of mind, and all of that stuff. So, just because everybody
I
else
need
is
to make a
jumping off
coffee.
the
I'm
bridge
drinking too much.
doesn't mean you've got to go too. Modern society would have us believe that married men are in better shape, live longer, and are happier. And nothing could be further from the truth. Single guys are much more likely to take care of themselves. They're in much better shape physically. Their health is far better. They have much more time for physical activity. They go to the gym a lot more. And they tend to have better mental health because they are self-sufficient. So they have much greater levels of self-esteem and general happiness in their lives. Married men, especially men that are unhappily married, which is the vast majority of them, tend to die
It's quite sad, that, isn't it, when you think, fucking hell.
of heart attacks and strokes and cancer at much higher rates than single men. So if you really want to live a long time and you want to look good and feel great, there's a lot of advantages to being single. I don't know why married men get fat. Maybe they think they're off the market. They don't need to worry about themselves.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has got to do with that. Obviously, I think it's that well, I don't have to worry now. I don't have to worry about attracting, like trying to gain attention of females. I have mine now, and you see it happen in both male and female. They tend to let go.
Anymore.
Married men get fat because they have wives who demand that they spend all of their time with them. And what do the wives do? Sit on their asses and do nothing.
She's spitting. Shell-shocked. I'm shell-shocked. She's fucking spitting. That's bars right there, girl. That's right. W. Christine.
So they both get
Wait, hold on. I want to make sure that's her name. Yes, it is.
fat.
Generally speaking, married men tend to be in much better. Married men tend to be in much worse physical condition than their single counterparts. So, single guys, got a lot.
You get images of dad bod, and it's not wrong. And that's, I would say, if he's making a statement like that statistically, and that doesn't apply to everyone, obviously. Every individual is different. You got some hot papas out there with like 3-4 kids, and they're out there fucking in the gym. They're still nice, got time for everything. There is those, but of the majority, percentage-wise, is what he's talking about: dad bods and the let going of the health.
Lots of look
The letting go of the health, not the let going of the health. I am Mount Fat Battery dead.
forward to there. Being healthy, strong, mentally fit. Yeah, what could be better? I mean, if you're going to live your life and you want to be happy and healthy, there's a lot of advantages to remaining single.
Look at the dogs watching the drone.
Another study found that single guys are much more likely to prioritize their happiness and fulfillment in life. So they are
live
not
now,
being
hell yeah.
tied.
See, married guys should be doing this too. Unfortunately, because we live in a gynocentric society, women have made themselves the center of
She's
their
right.
own universes and
That's
insist
right.
upon being the center of everyone else's universe.
Yeah, it's like a sort of mentality a lot of women have nowadays, the modern woman. And I'm not, painting with a broad brush here. I'm saying there's a lot of them. I'm not saying every woman. It seems that there's a lot. Maybe I am being fooled. But there's a lot of women out here that have this entitlement thing where they ridicule men for not hitting the criteria points, they begin to even ridicule because they believe that they're entitled to that, and they will eventually find that unicorn man. That's where they convince themselves. It's the big form of delusion of a world of self-worship.
A man should be finding fulfillment in life regardless of marriage. You know, it's even in the Bible. Women are called helper. Okay? Like, women...
She's getting biblical on our asses. Boy, she pulled out the Bible.
If you're wired correctly, your fulfillment in life is being that helper and looking after children, nurturing children. Like, your children are the center of your universe. But instead, we have women who have made themselves the center of their universe. Everything else is just like, this exists purely to add to me.
See, I think a lot is again, that's an individual thing that will come down to the individual. But as well, as I sit and I observe humanity, I see that humans, they need a purpose. Like, we need a purpose. We need to have a drive. There needs to be a purpose. You know what I mean? There's something I need to do. Whether it's if you have a family, provide for that family, or you're the rock of that family, or you have this need to pursue this art, you have this calling. We need that. It's very vital. People that don't have that and they're just sitting is very detrimental, I think, to themselves. It's very detrimental to themselves, truly. Yeah, need to have that. There's got to be a... For me, that's how I've always been my whole life. There's got to be something. Got about just seeking, try finding something. I'm looking for something. I don't know what it is, but I'll know it when I see it. You know, that sort of feeling. And there's always something new. You can always learn something. That's always been my thing. I've never been able to reach a point where I'm like, oh, that's it. I understand. Like, well, you know, I figured it out. No, for me, I don't think that's... I can always learn. I'll always be able to learn. And my mind is always open. You know, I've never... if I have, is maybe when I was younger, and I've certainly moved well away from now of having, like, tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is a hindrance to yourself. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're experiencing this life, if you're experiencing your life with tunnel vision. It's bad, man. It's like you got a filter on. You got a filter on, and like I'm like looking, thinking, fuck, they ain't got this HD shit. They ain't got ray tracing on. Fuck, my God, look at their frames. It's like that, but yeah.
When really, like, you should want to be with a guy who has a purpose, and you should want to help him strive towards that purpose. You should want to be his safe haven, his peace. You should want him to be able to go out and take on the world, not keep him all for yourself and then turn him into something.
Yeah, this goes both ways as well. This is both ways.
You hate and then end up divorcing him because you're unattracted to him. Like, women don't realize how much we're shooting ourselves in the foot with this idea of everything revolves around me. Because we don't actually want that. We're told we want that, and then we think we want that. But the reality is like, you don't want that. Everything in life is about sacrifice and service, and you're going to have to sacrifice on something. So it's either you have the world revolve around you, and you have, you know, your husband pouring into you, your kids are just kind of irrelevant, and everything's about how you feel right now. Well, you're not going to be happy in the future.
Yeah, that's very important. This is what we see. This is what we see when we observe society. We see that. We see like instant gratification. I was talking to someone about that. Don't know where. Don't know when. But instant gratification is like, yeah, what most people would rather want over than the long-term gratification. Like, they've got this thing in their mind as if making a sacrifice in their life is as if it's such a big fucking deal. Like, it's such a big fucking deal for them to make this sacrifice in order to secure future happiness for themselves. They don't see that. They don't see that part because they want instant gratification. They see that as a loss, them sacrificing, not knowing that everyone dies in the end of the day. So it's, yeah,
Or you let go of that idea and you focus on acts of service yourself and what you can add to the world, whether it be adding to your husband or your children or
local community, your family, your loved ones. Nothing. There is never a point when we can stand and go, oh, there's nothing to do. We've done everything. I want that day to come. I'm yearning for that day to come where we've done everything. That's the heaven where everything we've done it. Homelessness is gone. Everyone on earth is thriving. What borders? You know, in the idealistic world, what borders? What country? What do you mean by that? This is harmony and tranquility. I'm yearning for that. But hey, we're very far away from that. You know, we're not going to be at a point where we could say that in our lifetimes for sure. Can't sit there and go, oh, we've done everything. There's no more quests. We have to wait for the weekly drop. No. There's always something to do. We always can help. There's always someone who needs help who can help and apply that help.
Or your community. And thus you get fulfillment from that. But people just, they can't seem to compute.
And that's 100%, she's 100% spot on. What she said there is you get a fulfillment from that. That's 100% spot on. 100% spot on. That's why before I've been known to say that everything that everyone does ultimately is selfish. Now, let me explain. It's by simply like that. Is ultimately the reason the servant is the true master is because the servant is not serving to be a servant and to be helpful. Yeah, that is part of it, of course. But ultimately, the servant's biggest prize, the servant's biggest reward is the feeling they gain within. You see, nothing outside can top the feeling that you can give yourself inside. That mere feeling of helping someone and seeing them happy, that feeling you get inside, that's the ultimate prize. That's why they say the servant is the true master.
That idea, they can't seem to compute the idea that acts of service can actually bring you fulfillment. They just think they
100%.
need to be served in order to be fulfilled.
Again, it's then, it's the your mindset towards that service. More people are not using the word service; they're using it and seeing it in a word of sacrifice. So it's I've got to be here. Oh, I have to do this. Mindset, switch it. Perspective, switch it. You see, life is perspective.
And it doesn't make sense. Like, if you actually think it through and you get past the kind of advertising and the sparkly lights, like, it was never going to work like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why women don't get this.
Yeah.
Down by...
Feminism did a real good job. It did a real good job.
Fucking round of applause. Honestly, when I first started this video, I thought maybe she might be a little bit silly. She might even oppose the video. She's been absolutely based.
Someone else's needs and desires. They're no longer trying to fulfill someone else's image of what their life should look like. They find fulfillment in prioritizing their own happiness and fulfillment in life.
Let me tell you a secret. Humans admire this so much. When you're brave enough to just carve the road, make the way yourself, do you know how much humans admire that? They're not brave enough to do it themselves. No one's brave enough to step up to the plate until someone comes up and steps up to the plate. And then that person becomes a legend. But you've got to be brave to do that. That takes bravery because society will ridicule you. Go out, that. He's trying to change the thing. He's trying to change the norm. He's trying to carve the path. There is no path to the north. We know this for years. Yet he carved the way and now there is the northern road. He took the steps. Now a legend. Take the risk, lose a chance.
Emotional growth and independence is something that single men prioritize in their lives. They tend to be much more psychologically stable. They have a lot fewer difficulties when it comes to emotional health, psychological health. They tend to prioritize those things in their life. Singles experience much more psychological growth, self-determination. They're much less likely to settle into a relationship out of fear or insecurity. They're much more likely to feel in.
There's a highly likeliness as well with content single people that they respect themselves a lot as well. They're not so easy to give themselves up, like simply like for sex, for example, or I don't know, favor, or it's not like they respect themselves to a level where no, you're not gonna have that. No, I have respect for myself. I'm not gonna go there. Yeah, and that's very admirable.
Independent, resilient. There's just so many advantages to being single. The overall level of happiness when you're single and you're not worried about someone else's happiness is just unreal. So don't be afraid of embracing a single lifestyle. There are a lot of advantages to it. And just because you're single doesn't mean you're not going to have women in your life. It just means...
that's one ridiculous argument put forth to those that are, using his words, jumping off the bridge in marriage. But yeah, that's one of the things, like, oh, you'll never have a woman then. Huh? There's millions of women outside. Millions of women.
That you're not going to...
Doesn't mean you have to go in and tie yourself into a contract deal. Yeah, roll with a pay-as-you-go. Top up every now and then.
Make them your life.
Top up only when you need to make a phone call. You understand me?
That's the difference. Guys who have never been married and remain single through their lives tend to have a lot more friends than their married counterparts. They tend to prioritize these relationships and put a lot of energy into them. That gives them a lot more balance in their life. It gives them a lot more social outlets in their life. They're no longer, compared
it's
to...
It's important on both sides. It's important, male or female, that friendship circle is important to bounce off. And ultimately your partner, your lover, should be that person as well. But the ultimate person, your consigliere, so to speak. But sadly I've got to go piss again, and I've popped the Pringle box now. I can't stop. Give me a sec. Yeah, this is a vibe. Absolute vibe. Alright, on your last little stretch. I'm sorry for these little breaks. I had to go, man.
Their married counterparts who find themselves very isolated in this relationship and dependent on this one other person for all these different needs they have in their life. Single guys are much more balanced socially and emotionally because they have all these friendships. So don't overlook the value of remaining single. There are a lot of advantages to it. I remember when I was a boy, hanging out with my friends, and we would talk about what we would do when we grew up. We even thought about running away from home just so we could get there faster.
Oops, sorry, I was muted. Everyone done that as a kid. Hurry up and let me grow up. Hurry up. Not knowing the trap that it is.
We really just wanted to grow up, and experience all those benefits, all that freedom of being out from under.
It was the freedom. Like, I could stay awake anytime. I could go anywhere. No one can tell me nothing.
Underneath the yoke of a parent. Well, then you grow up and you put yourself under the yoke of a woman. Why would you do that? Really, really. When you think about it, all the fun and adventure that the world has to offer, you're going to trade all of that so you can get married and give all your time, energy, and money to a woman. Now, I have to admit, I love
see, it's the angle.
my kids, and I love, being a dad, and there's a lot of wonderful things about it. But if that doesn't work out for you, don't sweat it. I mean, really, the world is your oyster. Go out there and do the things that you wanted to do. Don't be afraid. I think fear is what people's most biggest problem is when it comes to this.
It's a big detriment in the whole of society. This is what we must conquer, as in my point of view. And that's how I see it. It's the big block in humanity is fear. One of the biggest the biggest block is fear. Everything ultimately goes to fear. We're fearing too much. Hey, dial down that fear, boys. Fear not, for the Father is here.
Is men are afraid to get out there and actually see what their potential is. What can they do? What could they do? Yeah, just shed that stuff. Just go.
And it's always that regret. That's the sad thing with it. Is the reach and achieve the goals which society has set for you, and then ultimately sit there with them goals achieved and realize you're not fulfilled. That's kind of a nightmare, and then you regret it and resent. It's this terrible thing. It's a terrible thing to consign yourself to.
Go out there and do it. You only got this one life. You might as well live it. You might as well have a great time while you're at it. Because single guys are not being tied down by responsibilities, they have a lot more time to explore their personal interests, whether that be travel or hobbies or sports or whatever they want to do. Because they're no longer, or because they aren't tied down to someone or responsibilities, they really have a lot of mobility and diversity in their life that married guys simply can't imagine. Yeah, it's like being a grown-up child. You can do anything that you want.
It's true. It's like you tap into it. Yeah, you tap into that. Wake up, do whatever you want. On your terms. It's the fucking aim. That's the fucking aim.
I mean, it's like all your dreams come true. I remember being a little kid thinking, oh my gosh, I can't wait till I grow up so I can do all this cool stuff. And then I got married. What was I thinking? Why would I do that? Why would anyone do that? Come on, really, why would you do that?
You would do that because hopefully, in an optimistic world, you would be marrying someone that wouldn't prevent you from doing
Yeah, in the ideal world, that would be the beautiful thing, because that person will complement you to the max, where you, in fact, you two become one super being, which is an absolute plus to the society around you.
all of that. But
Sadly, it's not.
I understand his point.
In many
Obviously,
cases,
he married someone who did prevent him from doing all of that, and he really regrets it, and probably wasted a lot of time. And
100%, you can see that he's been hurt. 100%, he's been hurt. He's sour. He's hurt from this, and he's resentful, and he's regretful of what's happened. And as I said earlier, I think it would be wise. It would be wise to hear a perspective like that. 100%.
probably could have had a lot more fun if he didn't do that. But that doesn't mean
On the flip side, it would be unwise to dismiss it.
that everyone is that way. I know it's a lot of them. I know the divorce stats. But there are still exceptions. There are still people who are happy
100%. They are, and they are the diamonds.
having someone else in their life. But it's not everyone. And it's not a lot of people. It's not even half.
You're just taking all the fun away. You're giving it to some girl. Why would you do that? If you're a single guy, don't be jealous of your married counterparts. There is nothing there to be jealous of. You have a lot of opportunities, and I don't know why life has turned out the way it has for you, but it has. So rather than fighting it, just go with the flow. There are tons and tons of opportunities out there for you to have romantic relationships if you want them, but you don't need to get married to have fun. You don't need to get married to
have fulfillment, have that. I've done it. You know that. Forget that.
Have a fulfilling life. You don't need to give up your freedom in order to be
to
complete.
attain that. Yeah,
Your life
that's
is
right.
complete as it is. You don't need to conform to some societal norm or some historical precedent.
Yeah, man, you have to seek inside. You have to look within, I think. You do. You have to look within and find that inner purpose. And begin that inner relationship with yourself, that love. Treat yourself as an old friend, a friend that you love, or an old relative that you love. Treat yourself like that. Very fucking important. You begin to love yourself truly, and then you begin to not need anything from the external world, like outside, in regards to relationships or in regards to whatever. Because you become self-reliant and self-fulfilling, almost. Whereas then you could then still be meeting people, obviously, the normal human thing. Also, the complement to that, to a person like that, would be another person like that. Is another person, another lady who is like that, self-sufficient, self-loving, truly loving person for their self. You know, not in a selfish way, but you know what I mean, self-respecting and all of that. And them two, then yeah, because they complement. There would be an asset, like not asset, like it would be like multiplier. If you're thinking in gaming sense, it would be like a multiplier. So you get a damage multiplier on both sides of the party. Your melee damage has a bonus. You know, your defense has a bonus, an additional buff. You know what I mean? You got certain special perks that you unlock, so to speak, because the complementation of it is ultimate. And then people, when that love is found, in them cases, it lasts forever.
Precedent in order to fit into this world.
But like we're saying, sorry for the yap, but like we're saying is that if we're looking at society, that what we were just talking about now, them diamonds, is a small number in society. The majority of societies is not like that. You could see just by the divorce rates, like you said.
So much to explore and to enjoy. Don't give up your freedom. Don't do it. Maybe one day in the future, society will come to its senses and realize that men have a very valuable place and a very valuable role to play, and that women are not all that they're cracked up to be. They are not the do anything Swiss Army knife human being that they claim to be. Enjoy your life as it is. Don't allow your need or thought that you have to have a woman in your life ruin what's a perfectly good thing that you have going right now. You don't want to regret it. You don't want to come to a point where you say, God, everything was going so well, and then for some reason, I thought that I needed to have a woman in my life. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, it's all a mental not mental construct, but like a societal demand that you have subconsciously in your mind. They've been telling you your whole life.
Like I've said in my past videos, happiness is subjective. It's something that you decide on.
Yes, 100%.
If you're living
100%.
your life thinking that you need to conform to someone else's idea of what it should be, then you're going to be unhappy.
You'll be deluded.
If you find yourself single and living this life, look at it as an opportunity to be and do all the things that you've ever wanted to do. There's a lot of evidence out there that single guys are much happier, much healthier, and much richer than their married counterparts. So, yeah, enjoy it. Just take it as a gift.
Do you know what I really respect about this guy? He's preaching a just be philosophy. You know, he's preaching acceptance of the way that things are. And he just seems very relaxed. He seems fairly wise, seems like he's learnt from his life. And most of all, what I respect about this is he's kind of giving fatherly advice.
Yeah.
And there's probably a lot of guys out there that either don't have a father in their life at all or lack some kind of father figure, or the father in their life isn't a good father figure.
I mean, it's not the only good thing. I think that advice is good across the board. It's that it's that again, the wizard, that it's got that wizard feeling, the sage, you know, the hermit. It's that it's valuable for everyone, both sexes, male or female. You know, you can glean value from what he's talking about here. You know, it would be wise to. I'd advise it. But yeah, not the angle where she's coming out where it's like single, and I never had the fatherly figure. It is an angle, 100%, but okay.
And this guy is providing a space where you can listen to an older guy.
Because no doubt there are. That is the case. No doubt there are young men out there that like that.
Guy who's made some mistakes, learnt from them, and just get someone else's perspective.
Yeah, that's why I'm
at the
big
end of the
value in
day,
it.
like I said, you know, he's preaching a just be attitude. Just be. Just accept and exist. Be aware.
Yeah, seek. Look within. Find that love within for yourself. What is it you want?
And do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy.
That's right.
And I like that. Top
Find
comment
that
is single,
purpose.
exercise every day, eat healthy foods only, no medications, can do 15 pull-ups from a dead hang. I can't even do one. Sleep like a champ, no morons in my life, I ignore idiots, never married, 62 years old.
Legend. 62. I want to be like this fucking geezer.
Good for you. Being single and able to do whatever you want is
Good for you. Is she a sly hater? I'm only joking, Christine.
priceless. If you marry a good woman, you will be happy.
Christine or Christina? Now I need to know. Christine.
If you marry a bad one, you'll become a philosopher. Socrates.
True. If you marry a good woman, you will be happy. If you marry a bad one, you will become a philosopher. Socrates. Fucking true. True.
Well, it seems like this guy has,
Very true.
embodied that kind of Socrates mindset, and he's become a philosopher and he's sharing his wisdom with other men.
True.
That is brilliant. If you marry a good woman, you'll be happy. If you marry a bad one, you'll become a philosopher.
It's so true.
I will remember that.
That's great. That is.
Look, I think the overall premise of that video is good. Like I say, if you want marriage, you should strive towards that, but you shouldn't feel like you have to have it in order to be happy. And I can definitely get behind that message. I'm never going to tell people to get married if it's not completely what they want, if it's just something they feel like they have to do. Do what makes you happy in life. That's just what I
100%.
think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you like this video, as always, please do give it a thumbs up on your way out, and be sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the notification bell to make sure that my videos actually come up on your feed. And if you
She was good. Great video. I will give it a like. I'm going to give it a sub. I'll pin it when the time comes. If you like that video as well. It's very weird for me to say, but subscribe and like the video. It's free. I'm streaming right now on Kick. But yeah, I'll be posting it on there. But yeah, that was a great video. I liked it. She was way more based than I actually thought. Not that I'm judging, but I thought maybe there's a way here I can have a laugh. We can laugh. I thought maybe she might oppose it. She was actually very based. She's so good shit. And if her other videos are anything like this, it's gonna be good. I'll definitely be checking out more of Christine's gear over here. Oh.